You can be the destroyer of this world. Or you can be its savior.
Hello friends, my name is Stevie Cade and welcome to Film Trigger. Black Adam, the long-awaited, very long-awaited, like 15 years, Black Adam movie has finally made it out to theaters, and I had the privilege to go see this with my son, Seth Draven. Remember him? He used to be on this channel. And I will tell you this much, we had a good time with this movie. Before we dive into all that, if you could, hit that like, thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and the little bell ding thing so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Without further ado, let's dive into my review for Black Adam. Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? Because I can, and it smells delicious. This movie gave me exactly what I wanted, and I believe is the movie that's going to link the early days of the DCEU moving forward with the DCEU right now. So let's talk about why. What did I like about this movie? This is a wonderful DC film. It doesn't feel like a Marvel wannabe. It's its own thing. If you want the Snyderverse, this is the closest you're probably going to get. This movie was shot in a very Zack Snyder sort of way. There was even some Zack Snyder's Justice League music in this movie. This movie pays great homage to what came before it, but it also paves the way of moving forward. And this movie is super action-packed. The Rock totally brought the game. The action is brutal. Gotta bring the pain, man. And this movie does so, and its action sequences are very well done. It's a very entertaining film.
Here we go.
It actually kind of reminded me of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, like that type of fun action film. This movie kind of mirrors that sort of vibe. Just because the action is so good, it's so brutal, and the movie, you know what? It's funny. Like the jokes that are in this movie, they're very dry, stale delivery, but like that's what works for me. Great action, decent comedy. This is the makes for a good movie. I thought The Rock himself as Black Adam, he did exactly what I thought he would do, I'll be honest with you. I'm glad he didn't do like cheesy one-liners in the classic way that I normally see him do them in. I'm usually not a huge Dwayne Johnson or The Rock or whatever you want to call him fan. He doesn't really go too far out of one like monotone sort of vocal setting that he has. He's just brooding and grit, and that's it. He doesn't stretch those acting muscles, and that's fine. That's not what this character needs. This character needs a forward-focused, angry, pissed off superhero, which is what we got.
Powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. Will not do that.
I'll just say this. The Rock definitely knew the assignment when he took on this role, and I'm super happy to see him in the DCEU now moving forward. And even his relationship with the kid, Amon, in this movie, I really adored this duality. Now, the kid, on the other hand, well, we'll talk more about him in a little bit later, but the relationship he had with this kid, it's what humbled Black Adam in this movie, but it also reminded me a lot of John Connor and Terminator in T2. The relationship that they had in that movie, it's kind of comical a little bit.
Fuck you, you little dipshit.
Dipshit. Put your leg down.
I'm telling you, I brought up The Mummy, I brought up T2. This movie has some definite 90s nostalgia woven into it somehow, which is not a bad thing. I mean, the 90s fucking rock. I think it's a very good thing for this film, and it definitely helped me enjoy it a lot more than I thought I was actually going to enjoy it. Aldous Hodge, I think that's how you say his name, he played Hawkman. He was an unexpected joy in this movie. I honestly didn't expect much out of him. Like, how are we going to introduce this Hawkman character? Is he an alien? Is he from Earth? They do well actually explaining that and giving him some pretty good development. I had a hard time taking him seriously with that suit on. That suit is very comic book accurate, but I looked past that for the most part because he is a very detailed character. He's very well hashed out, and he becomes a huge emotional aspect in the third act.
There's a war going on outside, we ain't safe from.
Black Adam.
We're here to negotiate your peaceful surrender.
Heard about it, these three killers.
Pierce Brosnan as Doctor Strange. I mean Dr. Fate, but come on, you know, it's Doctor Strange. But the character Dr. Fate was created first, so suck it, Marvel. I thought this character was the wisdom this movie needed. This is an older superhero. He's seen it all, he's done it all, and he's ready for retirement pretty much. And the heart that he brings to this movie is actually very endearing. It plays very hard into the third act, especially with the Hawkman storyline. Really enjoyed Pierce Brosnan being on screen. He's a wonderful actor, and I thought the heart that he brought to the movie was very well balanced. As for some of the other characters like Cyclone and Adam Smasher, they were okay. I'm not going to put them on the what I'm on the fence about portion of my review because they were fine. I don't really have any qualms with them. There wasn't much for them to do, but they also kind of poke fun of that in the movie, so it kind of makes it okay a little bit. And when they actually do something, it pays off as either a very comical hit or just an unexpected, like, oh, boom, here we are, last minute, saved everybody. Cyclone was actually more ignored than Adam Smasher. Adam Smasher did have some pretty comedic parts, but also Adam Smasher did remind me of Ant-Man, Spider-Man, and The Flash wrapped up into one character. Again, not a problem. Didn't take me out of the movie at all, and I actually enjoyed their contribution to the film, so I thought I would just give them an honorable mention. The next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be a little bit of a spoiler. What kind of spoiler? Because it's all over the internet. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who's been living under a rock, so I'm going to put a little spoiler thing right here in the corner. There we go. Now, if you want to skip the spoilers, wait until this is off screen, and then we'll be back to spoiler-free territory. Henry Cavill is back, baby. Yes. Oh my God, that post-credit scene. I knew it was coming, and I hadn't watched it online yet, and I could not wait. And dude, it just got me in all the feels. It was amazing. Now I'm so excited for the DCEU to be back on track. Also, it being announced that Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill is being made. We are back on track, and I yelled that out loud in theater. I said, he's back, baby. Oh man, I probably embarrassed my son, especially since he works at that theater. Sorry, kid. But let's talk about not just him coming back, but his suit. Yes, this is the Man of Steel suit, like the original suit with the bigger emblem on the front. Doesn't have that like river of hope going through the S, which honestly I never really cared for. I thought it kind of looked messy. It's a little bit more vibrant, but I think that's because Zack Snyder actually desaturated Man of Steel quite a bit, so it came across as not so vibrant. But this is 100% the Man of Steel suit, which is my favorite suit. And Henry Cavill's back, DCU's back on track, and this movie's putting it back on track. Fuck yeah. Although if there's one complaint I have to say about that cameo, they couldn't help themselves, could they? They had to put just a little hint of the John Williams Superman score. But we're going to give and take here, okay? So we're going to have to meet in the middle. If you want to fuck around with that old-ass score, okay. As long as Henry Cavill's back in his Man of Steel suit, you got me on board for now.
Hey everyone, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman.
Now, moving right along with some things I'm on the fence about when it comes to this movie. The Black Adam origin story. Yes, it's a story with Black Adam. I'm actually not really on the fence with the story itself too much. They kind of did this bait and switch near like the third act of the film, and I understand why they did it, but if they wouldn't have done that bait and switch, if they would have just told us the story from like right at the beginning or somewhere near the beginning of the second act, I think it would have been more impactful to the audience. But at the same time, I do understand why they did it the way they did it, because we're supposed to see Black Adam from the world's perspective and not the world from Black Adam's perspective. So that's why I'm on the fence with it, but I do think it still would have been more impactful if we were just let in on that little secret a little earlier in the film.
My son sacrificed his life to save me.
The main bad guy in this movie is weak as fuck. It very predictable. I knew who the bad guy was in the first like 15 minutes of this movie. Like I think his first line of this movie, I'm like, okay, that's the bad guy. Got it. There was actually quite a few plot points that he was involved with, and that doesn't make sense. Like, why do you need Adriana to find this crown that they're looking for? Like, honestly, like, I don't understand why he just didn't go get the crown himself, because she literally just goes, I believe it's in this cave. They walk into the cave. Yep, there it is. Like, there's no actual searching going on in here. It's just literally, it's in there. They went in there, and there it is. But he does have one redeeming factor, which is kind of comical in the way that it happened. And that's the fact in the third act, when he turns into the big baddie, somebody who could actually take on Black Adam, that's not just a regular old human. I thought this character looked badass. I even looked at Seth and said, dude, they made a better, like, Genie Jafar than Aladdin did in the live action movie. And that's when my son told me that this is the same actor who played Jafar in Aladdin. I had no idea. This movie did a better Genie Jafar than Aladdin did with the same actor. But I will say, when he does turn into that big baddie at the end, dude, he looks pretty damn good. So that's what's gonna keep him on my what I'm on the fence about, instead of, you know, traveling over into what I don't like about this movie, is with that redeeming factor of how intense he was when he became the big baddie. But besides that, he's a weak villain, but he got the plot through, so good job. The kid Amon, I get it. I get what he's doing here. He's supposed to be the one who humbleizes Black Adam, puts the humanity back into Black Adam, or shows him what humanity is supposed to be. But at the same time, there's really not much for this dude to do. And they're like treating him like he's doing a lot. Like he pretty much gets participation trophies throughout the whole film, if you will. Everyone's like, good job, buddy. Good job, Amon. Nice. Yeah, we're going to put that right here. Right on the refrigerator. Good job, buddy. Family Guy bit. But besides just delivering some cheesy lines and not really having anything to do, he's only really there just to keep Black Adam in line a little bit. And again, as I said, I do like the relationship between Black Adam and Amon, but the kid himself, they could have done something a little bit more with him, I believe. Now on to what I don't like about this movie. The Hell Army at this movie is just, God, they were pointless. They were weak. There was no point in them being there. They were easily taken out. They weren't threatening at all. They were like the Pirates of the Caribbean pirates, cursed crew, if you will, but not scary. They didn't hurt anybody. I don't think anybody got hurt by them, and they were easily taken out. So, yeah, Hell's Army sucks, man. Another thing I don't like about this movie is I know there's a character arc to Black Adam. The entire movie is the evolution of this certain character arc for Black Adam. And from the beginning of the movie to the very end of this movie, he goes through this character development, and you're like, wow, man, he really learned a lesson, huh? It's really good to see characters develop. Nice. And then at the end of this movie, he's like right back to just like being vigilante dude. Like, like the development didn't happen. It happened to make the story continue from beginning to end. And then when the story's done, he's like, so anyway, I'm still going to hurt people and fuck them up. Stop me, bitches. And there's one more thing that I don't really like, and this actually falls more onto my petty points when it comes to this movie. That's right, we haven't had some film trigger petty points in a while, and this is definitely right into that realm. I'm not going to critique the movie over it, but damn if it doesn't bother me. Listen, why does Black Adam speak English? Why? Why does he speak English? This dude died thousands of years before the English language was ever even invented. I think thousands of years before white people were even invented. And not only that, when he does come back, he knows perfect English, number one, and he also has no accent. He's the only one from this area that has no accent. I don't get it. I get it-ish. But they really should have explained this off. Maybe did a quick like montage of him learning English. I don't know. But the fact that they don't explain it just really bugs me a little bit. He's super ancient, so why wouldn't he have an accent? And how does he know English? Overall, was this a perfect film with rich storytelling that makes you take a deep look inside yourself? No, it wasn't. Was this a fun, action-packed, blow your balls off, make you laugh type of fucking 90s throwback film? Hell yeah, it was. And it was a lot of fun. Very entertaining. I think it did what it needed to do. And that was get the DCEU back on track. And it laid the ground for better storytelling moving forward with this franchise and with the DCEU in general. Put us right back on the path. And yes, I have a few complaints, a few petty points about this movie, but you know what? It does not take away of how much fun I had with this movie, how funny I thought the movie was, and the biggest smile I had on my face multiple times in this movie when it called back to the original DCEU and gave me hope for the future of the DCEU for like the first time in 4 fucking years. So For all these reasons, I'm giving this movie a B-.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
There you have it, guys. There's my review for Black Adam. I feel like this might be a divisive movie, but what movie isn't these days? I'm just glad I had a really good experience with this movie. I've been looking at DC to bring a movie like this to the table so I can feel comfortable with the DCEU and knowing where it's going to go. And now I feel like I have a glimpse of where it's headed, and it's also going to like kind of hold the integrity of the early DCEU stuff. And that's 100% what I'm on board for. Absolutely love it. Let me know your thoughts about this movie in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you middle of the road? Let me know, and let me know why. I would love to have that discussion with you in the comment section below. Also, be sure to check out some more of my videos. And as always, stay trigger happy, my friends. Peace.
So I'm out to them.